All right, backyard wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of the best backyard wrestling podcast out there, the FBW Undisputable podcast. And we are here with a special guest, someone who's returning to the podcast for the sequel to our Instagram live that we did like a year ago. I got Jake Howell, the founder of UWA. How you doing, buddy?
Doing just fine, man. How about yourself?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. So it's been a while since we did one of these. The last time was right after you left TBW.
And when the controversy was going on, yeah.
And I think I was like probably your only podcast that you did back. Well, it wasn't really a podcast, it was an Instagram live, but fuck it. I guess I was like the first platform where like you like aired your grievances. So
Yeah. And I know since then that's been brought up against me when they inevitably will call me or text me about how I'm doing this wrong and such. But it's very different times from back then, which is now. I'll say that.
but this podcast or whatever is going to be very different because we got a lot to talk about. Uh
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when we did that Instagram live, we just focused on you leaving TBW, but you've done a lot since you left TBW. You started your own company, the Underground Wrestling Alliance or whatever. So let's talk about that. So you end up leaving TBW or whatever, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So how long after like you left TBW, when did you start thinking that you wanted to start your own backyard wrestling company?
Well, I remember it was would have been right around the time after their season finale that year. So about like a month or so, like one of the first weeks of January. And I was in a bad place. I realized all of my friends, besides the ones that I had made there, had been pissed away. I hadn't talked to them in months. I was overweight, depressed, borderline suicidal. And
Oh
that's when
shit.
I was just thinking to myself, yeah, that's something else. No one knows about that. Like, that's something we can get into a little bit later because that kind of plays a part in all this too. But I was just at the lowest possible point. Then I was like, wait a minute. I can I can do this. I can I can be what they can't be. I can rise up and get past all of this. And over the course of a year, I kind of worked myself back up. Now I'm in a good place. Now I have the love of my life with me. I have all my friends are making some content. My family's all good with me now. So it was a year journey from January to January. It's just the biggest difference, but would have been probably like January 10th or 11th. We just passed the 1 year, and yeah.
Shit. So when you left TBW, what was the idea always that you were just going to start your own company, or was there a period where you wanted to like find another company to join instead of making your own company?
The joining another company was the backup plan,
Okay.
and I didn't know where to start, but kind of the initial idea and the name it was going to be just simply be called Fighting Spirit. It would have been just it would have been just like how it is now, but just like a different name and different presentation. And then I was just thinking like, okay, it's going to be in a building. You can't really call it backyard because we're not really in a backyard. We're in a building.
Yeah, but the good thing about backyard wrestling, it's not necessarily like literally backyard wrestling. And see that's the thing, because like backyard wrestling is like it's a wide like you know concept, because like how like CPW up in New Jersey or whatever, they wrestle in a park, but they're still like
Which is badass.
yeah, I mean it's definitely unique or whatever, but like they're not in a backyard, we have people wrestle in front yards, wrestle on trampolines, makeshift rings. So like, I mean, you got your own little arena, going on, but I mean, you guys are not pros or whatever. So like, it still falls underneath.
well, then like, and like that's where the name came from. Like, so underground being like not because it'd be like under the fucking ground, but it would have been just because it's like under wraps.
I mean, you guys are a hidden gem in the backyard wrestling community and in the BYWN.
We're getting there. I think with because every time we go out there, we try to expand our show and do a little bit better than we did last time. And we try. Sometimes we don't always hit the mark, and sometimes we do. I'm not going to say that we've had a perfect track record because we just haven't.
Yeah.
No one has a perfect track record, but everything came together in that short span of time between January and March, and gathering people up, getting ready, setting up the ring, setting up the arena, getting the championships. And that first show happened. Like the Underground Unleashed and then the first Warfare, where we had everybody there and everyone was ready to go and ready to work and ready to show up and show out, and kind of kickstarted us.
So,
and that's a wonderful moment.
So, but before you created a UWA or whatever, were there companies on your radar that you wanted to try to join before you created a UWA? If
I did some snooping around, and I had offers. And
offers from who?
Well, like the territory down in Indiana, there was some up in Michigan. There was, I believe, there was one from Alabama, but I was just thinking about my situation. I didn't have a lot of personal money.
So, in fact, actually, I don't know if fans really remember this, but I'm a backyard wrestling genius because I'm Anthony Aries. So shortly after you left TBW, and this was right before your company was announced, you actually had a little feud being teased up or whatever against Caden Ratana. So explain what happened with that, because that never happened.
It was just about to happen, but the night before I'm supposed to leave, my mother told me that she had a brain tumor. And I'm like, I can't leave home. I cannot leave home because I have to be there for it, because like it was just starting to get bad.
Uh-huh.
And I called him and texted him like, hey, I can't make it. My mother's got something wrong. I have to be there for her, because it's on Easter. And I didn't know it was going to be the last Easter I ever spent with my mother. And that was kind of the saga, kind of. It was going to happen. It was going to be a surprise. It was going to be, you don't think I'll be there, but then I actually be there. And it would have been fun to wrestle Caden. I know that he's one of the better ones that I've seen. He's really cool. He was all sympathetic. He was like, hey, just take your time, man.
And that match ended up not happening, and then Caden Ratana actually became pro. But
which
yeah.
all respect to him.
But after that, you went on to create your own company or whatever. So you talked about how one of the original names that was going to be, it was Fighting Unleashed or whatever. Was there any other names that you considered besides Fighting Unleashed and UWA?
Yeah, there were a few names. I know it's and some escape me, but the biggest one that I'm thinking of is, I think it's like Southern Wrestling Alliance. Like, it wasn't too far off from the UWA. It was just SWA. And like a bunch of other like little obscure names, but it was actually me and the first person that we signed, who I guess the cat can be out of the bag. CJ was the first one signed. He was the first one to join. He's been here from the beginning. We were just sitting around one day, and I was just kind of just sitting around and thinking, and I'm like, Underground Wrestling Alliance. And it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst thing that we had. So we were like, fuck it, we'll just go with it.
So
And
CJ was the first one signed.
he was the first one signed. He was the first one that I asked because I had known him for a little bit and I
Damn,
knew he had some experience in other places.
that's
And
interesting. That's interesting
yeah,
because the first program, if I'm not mistaken, was you and Redneck Man.
hmm like he was there from the beginning. He was kind of what because like he had never wrestled in a ring before he came to us, and he had some backyard experience that he didn't film from his hometown, which I'm not going to say here because that's his business. Maybe if one day he decides to talk, he might could tell you, but
Yeah.
he was kind of watching and learning. But he really, he helped me. Like everyone's helped. This has
Yeah.
not been just one or two people. Like everyone has pitched in and helped in this in some way. And it feels like a family, because when one of us hurts, all of us hurt. When big things happen, it takes a chunk out of all of us. But he was there from the beginning and he helped come up with the name. And the logo was originally going to be purple, just all purple. And that's a weird thing to think about. Now I have to find that somewhere. It's going
Yeah,
to be
that's
yellow.
weird. That is weird
Yeah.
because, like, I don't know, just like underground wrestling, like, I don't know, like the logo that you have or whatever, I don't know, it just fits like the fire theme. I don't know, it just fits.
Yeah. And like the purple was going to be because I was thinking about like purple is a very regal and a very regal and like royal color. Like monarchs would wear it, musicians would wear it, just people of importance would always wear it. So I'm like, it's very eye catching color. But then I was like, well, what is more eye catching than purple? And that's yellow, red, and orange. That color palette. So having the red and the orange, the yellow, those colors that catch your eye all in one place, it just kind of boom, there we are.
I
It's right.
never really cared about purple. I'm not gonna lie, but one day, like, I was just changing the colors of my Anthony Aries logo,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I made like a purple version, and I don't know, just like the purple, I don't know, purple grew on me because like now I use the purple version of my Anthony Aries logo on like everything. That's like the main one I use. I don't know, I like purple.
Purple. Okay, purple is a very like okay, purple is my favorite color. And there's another fun fact about purple when it comes to UWA. The world title was not always going to be the one that we have now. We were going to modify an old intercontinental title replica with the purple strap. It's going to have a purple strap,
Oh, really?
which that never saw the light of day. And it'd be cool one day, funnily to put out like a prototype shirt kind of the logo before it had the fire effect. It was like a blank logo, just like purple, like the original font, but just purple.
So you guys have a merch store.
We do.
So
It's
if
been
you want to plug it real quick,
I know it's on Spreadshirt, but I don't know how long it'll be there because we're trying to move it to a different place.
you
But
know, honestly, I mean, I don't know how you guys get paid off this spreadsheet. I don't know if they
it's been
take a
difficult.
cut. I don't
But
know if they take a cut or you make the full, but honestly, T Public is a pretty good site or whatever.
like the one thing I'd like to do is just be able to like set my own prices and like try to have more simpler designs instead of having to space them out like across shirts. And like that's just something else. Like
I
that's
mean,
just part of
I
the
like
pattern.
T Public because I mean their prices are pretty decent. Like shirts are just like $20 or whatever.
Mhm.
And then they worry about shipping and making all the shirts or whatever. Um, but yeah, no, that's where I have my store. I have it on T Public or whatever.
Well, earlier you mentioned like your logo shirt. My favorite logo shirt was the Sega logo for my name. I love that shirt. That shirt's my favorite.
I kind of been thinking about making some like parody like shirts that are like FBW themed or whatever. Not gonna lie.
That was the like I think that's part of like the creative process. Like you should pay tribute to things that you like.
For real.
I love video games and I love Sonic and Sega. And I'm like, how about we just put my name in the Sega font? Why not?
I mean, it works. I mean, it works.
It it worked until everything happened, and it was fun.
So,
Yeah.
so moving along. So, when you made the idea that you were going to start your own company, what was the idea always that you wanted to get like a real ring, or like was there a time where you just said fuck it, we're just going to wrestle on the ground?
There was a time where everything was up in the air. So I'm like, I think I can get a real ring. Then there's the fallback if we can just do it in the backyard. But we managed to get it.
So the
And
initial thought was you were going to try to get the ring, or
yeah, we're gonna try and see if we can order. And when the guy was like, sure, yeah, we're in stock. I'm like, okay, here we go, guys.
so did you build the ring yourself, or like did you get the
Um,
supplies and how to build it yourself, or
well, what happened was there's a guy in Kentucky who used to work for, I think he said he used to work for All Japan Pro Wrestling,
uh-huh.
but like he used to be a wrestler, and he makes rings with his crew. It's not just like wrestling rings; it's like boxing rings and like MMA cages. And after about 3 or 4 months, they were done, and we picked it up in Kentucky. It was me and my dad.
Oh, so you had to go to Kentucky and pick it up.
Which like we're like our town in Tennessee. I could drive down the road right now and be in Kentucky. Like we are not far from the border
Yeah.
at
Oh
at all.
yeah. Like shit. If I ordered, like, damn, I'm all the way in
Lord,
Florida. Like shit.
Lord Almighty. Like they could ship it to you, but it would take a lot more manpower. But the one thing that they got kind of weird with our ring, I don't know if you've noticed, but like the red turnbuckle pads, we didn't ask for the red turnbuckle pads. We just wanted black, so we could put like the logo on the turnbuckle pads. But they gave us red, but the red does stand out.
I guess it fits with like the color scheme of like the logo anyway.
Happy accident.
Yeah. So how much did you pay for the ring?
The ring in total was 2,600, but okay, so I was scrambling to make that money. I was working my ass off in this horrible job.
2,600.
Yes, but here's the funny thing: is my
That's
mom and
actually
dad.
cheaper than what I thought.
Oh, you should see the 20x20 and the 18x18s. They're almost worth more like a used car.
How much wait, so how big is your ring?
14x14.
14 by 14. Is that the smallest that they sell?
No, the smallest they sell is like 10x10.
And how much those ones cost?
About 1,200, about 1,000, which is not bad. Those are fun rings. Those are good rings too. Like, don't like look anybody out here who's like maybe interested in that. Don't let any kind of like the size be like a detriment. If
Hell,
you
I
can make it
managed to
do what
wrestle
you
in like
have,
an 8x8. So
see, don't think that just because your ring is big or small, you have to do a certain way. Just do what you want to do and
I
go
mean,
out
as
there and
as long as you're having fun, you're having fun. A
yeah.
wrestling ring is a wrestling ring, whether it's pro made, homemade.
And yeah,
I get a lot of shit for my ring, but that was what we could afford, with our
you have to make
circumstances.
do with what you have.
Yeah.
You have not everybody can be like you know these bigger ones and just materialize it out of thin air because they have connections. We didn't have any connections. We all worked up money and we poured into it. And the day came, and remember we took it back home and we set it up. It was me, CJ, Robbie Andrews at the time. That's it, really. It was just me, CJ, and Robbie, and we set this ring up and we took the bumps. And I remember just taking the bumps and just hearing the sound. Like it's like maybe if one day like you were ever like in the arena and you hear like the sound of the fucking ring get bumped on, it's like a shotgun. It is loud,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which makes pumping in the noise a bit hard. But that's a different thing. But like the first bump, it was just like we're in business, and this was before like the walls were up or anything. And I have a picture of the day that we got it. I want to forward you that picture personally because I just want you to see this.
I mean, shit, you should hit me up with a link to look at that ring thing or whatever. Maybe
Sure,
I'll
yeah.
maybe I'll buy a ring and make a comeback. FBW 2.0 better than ever.
That'd be awesome. Hell yeah.
To
But
start, fuck it. I'm just gonna make my own pro wrestling company in my backyard.
that's what CZW did.
To
And
start hitting up everybody. Yo, I'm a 20-year-old, not pro trained, booker, but shit, and it's in my
let's
backyard. Come
fucking
on,
have fun.
yeah, let's go. Hey, let's fuck it. Let's go
That's
be
what I
better than
did.
WWE, right?
That's what I did. Like I literally I reached out to SBBW because I had known them from TBW with the whole thing where we'd made up from that whole drama that took place. And I was like, hey guys, you guys rule. Come on down here. Let's just have a good time. And it was that tightly knit group of people. Just everybody came together and we knew we can make something special. And this is before some of the egos got in the way and made things stressful along the like down the line. But it was the moment the first show happened and everybody was just so damn excited and happy and keen to make this the best show that we possibly could. And we had that battle royal. By the way, to anyone listening to this who might want to do a Royal Rumble style battle royal, and it's your first time, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is. Be prepared for a headache. Be prepared for a headache. Because that was a hard day. That was a hard day. We didn't know shit. We were just out there. I was like, you go in next. You go in next. I'll go next. I'll get eliminated and then go out next. Now, if we were to run one, it wouldn't be a problem because now we know what we're doing and now we can be in the back, especially me now that I can't wrestle. I can just be in the back and give the time cues and go like, hey, go out there now. So there's that.
So you got the pro ring. How
Yes.
so how did you guys learn how to work in a pro wrestling? Because none of you guys have like pro training,
No.
right?
Well, one of us did, and then he taught the rest, and it's Mayhem. Mayhem does have some pro training, so he was teaching us how to bump and tuck our chin, do the rolls. He was
Oh
a big
shit.
help. I gotta say, kayfabe broken. I love that man. He's a good man. He's a good guy. He taught us so much, and he's probably my favorite feud and my favorite match because we had the Underground Rules match.
So what school did he get trained at? Do you know?
I don't know if it was a school more so as he met these two pros from Hartsville, Tennessee, and they brought him into the ring and they trained him. And by
So it's kind of
training
like
him,
under the radar type deal.
it was very under the radar. He was talking
I
about
mean, training's training,
he's like I just snuck in the back and did bumps and did some stuff, and they let me do it for free. Like, well, good
for
job, man.
free.
Like they were just like, we like you, kid. Come on. Of course, but they were stiffing him the whole time. Like old school training. But training's training.
Oldies.
Yeah, and he learned a lot, and he taught us that, and that certainly helped me and a lot of others in our matches because then we understood like timing and like the psychology of a wrestling match, and we had to think about it because the place that we all came from, there was no such thing as like cues or psychology or like time cuts. It was just But like we took it as a challenge of, okay, let's actually just try to make this a different show compared to what people may think when they see our names, and use those tips that we learned and just try to make a cohesive show from it. And I think we succeeded in the most part. I think we succeeded in trying to make something different.
I mean, for sure. So
definitely different to work with.
So how was it creating that whole little arena in your little
Well, that arena is just my garage.
Well, yeah, but like you set up some what do you call it? Like some walls and shit.
Yeah, so the ring came in there first, and then the walls. And at first they were all black.
Yeah.
Then they became the silver, which I like the silver more. It kind of like makes it pop. And then we added the little stage in the tunnel, and we're going to add some more stuff coming soon. We're gonna do our best to add this stuff. But it was the evolution of putting up the walls and be like, yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just added
And
one thing after another, one by
yeah,
one.
like we're not like in a hurry. Like it's just like, okay, we'll put the tunnel up and maybe put some banners there and put some flags there. Oh, we should put something or so and so. It's just like it's a thing of like when we can do it, we do it.
So
It's not.
say again.
We aren't the kind of show where it's just like everything has to be here right now, because like we're still trying to figure out what our show needs to look like.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to waste money on like shit that like at the end like
outdated.
you didn't really need.
Yeah.
So how was it building the ring?
Building the ring was a daunting thing for all of us, but I'd built a ring before once, a long time ago, so I kind of knew how it was going to work.
Shit didn't come with instructions.
It did, and that was very helpful for us. And remember just carrying the big boards and cutting the boards by hand with like a hacksaw, getting everything in place.
You had to like cut everything and like
yeah. Okay, well, like the posts and like the under part of the ring and the padding were all there. We had to supply our own wood, and we just cut the wood like a hacksaw. There were like probably four of us, like including my dad, just cutting that wood with like a big hacksaw, taking that part of the wood, then going to the ring, and then like two of us would stay behind, and then two of us would go to the ring to put it in. It's very, very just over and over type thing. And when we got finished, it was probably about like 6:30 in the evening, and we took
so you had to get your own wood.
Yeah, which is that was a pain, but it was worth it. The boards have held up. Now, to be fair, we need to fix the ring a little bit. They're coming up in some place. We got to rearrange it. But other than that, I think it's worked just fine.
Yeah. So you end up having, I guess, I mean, a short career. I guess not what was planned, but
it was not.
Let's talk about, I guess, your short career in UWA.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your overall? What was your favorite, part of your short little career in UWA?
Probably the Mayhem feud, just the filming and everything, and the Underground Rules match. It's the hardest match I've ever been through. It was the most fun match I've been in. It was pretty much like we were telling we tried to tell a deep story with this. It was chock full of just symbolism that I don't think many people understood. And things in that match were going to lead to something, but like the ending is the biggest thing, because no one had ever gotten the bat from his like yellow bat, and I got the bat from him, and he's just kind of on his knees, and he's looking up at me, and he's like, first he's like in his voice, end it, but then his voice goes to his normal voice, and he's like, just end it, and the look in his eye, bat to his head, the bell rings, and you almost just see me just looking completely just destroyed, just void, because I had to do that to another man.
Yeah,
that's something that we try to do, is the story thing. But that feud was pretty good. I love working with CJ because he and I trained together, and it was easy to put together matches between us, like that one where we both where we like knock each other out. That was a fun one. There was a missed opportunity, though. It was the biggest missed opportunity. Something I wanted to do so bad, but I probably won't get. I probably will never get to do it. I really wanted to be in a ladder match. I love ladder matches.
I do too. I've been in a couple ladder matches in my career. I think my favorite ladder match, honestly, had to be me versus Chris Dynamite from like
I gotta
the first showdown. Yeah. Ladder
but we were
matches
just
are so fun.
I tried hard to rehab and get back in shape, but the issue was just that my body was telling me, no, you've you are fucked up. You just gotta take it easy, man. And that was a really scary time because I wasn't breathing right. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night not breathing and wake up again, and I could barely eat my food, and like my food would come back up, and a hard time walking and getting around because of the airflow.
Seems like wrestling has definitely took a toll on your body.
Well, like now, like my sternum, because like it was a deep contusion on my sternum, and there was previous damage there. It's starting to heal good. That hit also gave me a stomach ulcer,
Oh, really?
which I'm still recovering from, and my body feels better. I'm in good shape. It just sucks that I can't, you know. I just wish I could be in that ring again, just once, you know, just one time.
I
But
mean,
it's
we
probably
all do wish you can come back. I think I can speak for everybody, with the fan base.
because there was a storyline that was going to happen that never happened that was going to be interesting. That probably will not happen now.
And what storyline is that?
Well, it had to do with the mayhem stuff. Um, it was going to be that after months and months of trying to run from it and what I did to mayhem was going to catch up to me and turn me into the evil version of myself. Something I've been cooking up for one whole year. This character that was pretty much going to be my attempt to be the most heinous, most villainous, evil wrestler that I possibly could.
So you were going to turn heel.
Yes. It was going to
So
be
so basically, like, your feud with Mayhem kind of drove you to like the dark evil side type deal.
it's something that like the creator of Halloween, John Carpenter, one time he said, like the moral of the story is yes, you can defeat the monster and defeat evil, but lest you become the monster that you fight. I was going to become the monster that I fought, but worse. It was
I
going to, and
mean,
then
would have been cool to see.
there was a lot of plans, and like I had my outfit ready, I had my theme song ready, I had everything ready, and then it happened, and you know it's unsure if I'm ever going to get back in the ring. It's probably a not,
I mean, we'll
but
definitely get into that later. But you you were definitely not a heel in UWA, but you
no.
were a heel your whole TVW career, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, because
which
you were in what was
I
it
got
called?
tired of. I
You
got
were like
tired
in
of
the
it.
industry or some shit, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it was called. Yeah, you were a heel. Yeah,
I got tired of being a heel. Like I liked being a heel for a little bit because I was facing like interesting people.
yeah, but
To be a heel,
you were just like the generic, heel, just in like the
yes,
group or whatever. You weren't like,
I wanted to be that evil guy so bad. I wanted to be it's like the J.K. Howell character was just like it was a guy that tried to go pro, couldn't go pro, and now he's taken out on the backyard. It's like that's why I wore the tights
yeah, you
and the
were
boot.
just generic bad guy number 5.
Yes,
I mean,
and that's what I hated. I was like, I hate this. Like I was like, just let me do something else. I'm like, no, you're gonna be there.
I mean,
Fuck you.
I don't know if I've said this publicly. I may have mentioned it
Mm-hmm.
in the Instagram live that we did a bit ago. It really seemed like you were like above the rest, and I feel like they like their management, I guess whatever you want to call it, knew that you had the potential to be, and outshine everybody in that company, and they didn't like that. And I feel like they held you back on purpose because they knew that like if they let you go, you'd be like, because I mean, shit, you look like a star when you first came in. You look different. Like you just like I remember when I first saw you, when you Because like back then, like before like the whole, Sergeant drama incident happened, and you left, like I would sometimes watch because I was cool with Josh Allen. And I remember seeing you for the first time, and like I don't know, just you gave off this vibe that like you were gonna be something special. And then ultimately, what happened? Like I don't know, it just
There
like
were
it seemed
plans
like
for
what happened.
there were plans for me that I guess now I can say because below me, but I was gonna win the Continental title from Fat Asian,
Oh, really?
but at the time I was going to music college, and I told them, hey, I'm because like they were filming at all points in the week, and my college was in the week. It's like I don't want to win this and never be here to fucking defend it.
Respectable, respectable.
Like this title means more to me than you'll know. I'd much rather win it at a different point. But they took that as a slap in the face of me refusing things.
Which I
I
mean,
didn't want to.
which if anybody wants to, hear the fucked up ways of TBW, you could definitely go on my Instagram page and see the first Instagram live that I did with Jake Howell, and we talked all of the how
It
bad
was
TBW was. But go on.
well, okay. I'll just say this: I was mad back then. I was angry, but I still stick by what I said because, like, that's what goes on, and people can support who they want to support, and they can like who they want to like. But I just hope that they keep in mind, you know, the ones that you see on the screen are definitely not who you would find in real life.
AKA they're pieces of shits in real life.
I would say, I would borderline say like manipulators, like actual like sociopathic, psychopathic manipulators.
Which I'm pretty sure we explained why in that one
Yes.
Instagram live. I mean, it's kind of hard to remember because shit, we did that like a
I've
year
tried to
ago.
forget it
Yeah.
because that has legitimately okay. I think it's time to bring up the suicide type stuff because this kind of plays a part into it. Is during that time I was not well. I was not well. Bad mental health. Um, the girl who I'm with now, who is just the greatest thing to me, I was with her then, but I was acting up, and I'm like, I don't want to rope her into this life, so I'm like, I called it off, and that was a really bad decision because like without her, I was just a mess. I gained a lot of weight. I didn't take care of myself. I hung out with the wrong people, and as many times as I would sit in on those meetings, like those creative meetings, and hear the stuff that they were saying, the more it was just a slow burner of I'm in this artificial world that they have created around me, and they've been misleading me this whole time to think that everything else is bad except for them, and everything else in my life suffered from that. And that was the rebuild period. And there were times in 21 that I wanted to off myself, and there were times that I wanted to disappear and never come back because of the trauma that happened there. I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest about it. But thankfully that didn't happen. I'm here right now. I'm in a better place. I just turned 20 back in November. I didn't think I was going to make it to my 20th birthday with it like with everything going on, and I did. So
I mean, luckily you got a good support system in
yeah,
like the BOWN. I know like we
y'all
don't
helped.
we text almost every week about. In
Y'all were
fact,
there like for
we
like the
we
whole thing.
we actually texted like pretty much every day when you first left TBW
Oh
and you were
Lord,
starting up UWA. That's another thing fans don't know about.
you were one of the first people to know,
Yeah, I was.
and
Yeah,
nobody knew what I was doing.
yeah, which is a absolute honor.
Well, I mean, I didn't let
And
many
I never blew
people know.
anything. I never told anybody
No,
anything.
no. It was. I know that you know they say don't trust anybody, but I do trust you because like you listened to everything that I had to say, and you didn't take it as anything, but this is just a man who's trying to move on.
And I mean, I gave you some, tips and like, tricks or whatever, if I felt like you needed it or whatever.
Which helped. And I know that all of us in UWA, specifically the ones who are more into the backstage stuff, we value that, and we don't forget it. But just that time was just an emotional time. And I think it needs to be said that don't let people that you think are your friends turn you into what they are. That's just something that you have to learn. Don't give in to peer pressure.
For sure.
Like, because of them, I almost fucked my life up for good because of them. And there have been many attempts to try to get the two sides to work together, but I've said absolutely not at every single stage. No, because I know it hurts.
I mean, like, that's not even being petty, but like, why should you? I mean, like, just, don't gotta hold a grudge, but like, they can do them and you'll do you,
And that's what I want. Like, I never wanted to like we're taking all like we're gonna be better than you. Like, no. They would
honestly, in your world, they don't even exist. That's how it should be.
Like, I mentioned sometimes that this guy is a former world champion. Like, still giving the respect to like what they did, but I'm not going to say who.
Exactly. And I mean, because like in certain cases, like it's not the wrestler's fault that they started in TBW and made a career in TBW, but they still deserve to respect if they're
And that was the biggest criticism. Was these are just TBW guys, and I'm like, well, what I'm aiming to do is do something better than what they did in TBW, to give something of just substance.
And another thing, people can't really complain about that. That's one thing that kind of annoyed me, was everybody said, "Oh, it's just TBW 2.0." Well, one, it doesn't help that, I mean, you're in the same, you live in the same area as TBW.
I'm 5 minutes away from the arena. I could stay on the phone with you right now and call you from the arena, but I'm not going to do that. I'm 5 minutes away.
He said, "Fuck it, let's resume this podcast live in the TBW.
Let's go to the front yard."
Right. No. And it's bound to happen that people are going to quit TBW and still want to wrestle and may be friends with you still.
Hell,
and want to join your
company. People have quit UWA to go back to TBW,
which we'll get into that. So yeah, I don't know. It just kind of annoyed me, but then again, your company is different than TBW in so many ways. Well, one, you have a pro ring. I mean, they have a homemade ring that they try to make pro. You have an indoor arena. It's just, I don't know. But so when TBW or whatever, so TBW guys actually came to UWA. Some people actually worked for both companies at the same time. So how did you feel about wrestlers working TBW and UWA?
Well, the only ones that did at the start were Fat Asian and Joe Anderson.
Which Fat Asian, he ended up leaving. But
okay, Joe is the best type of person because he just wants to wrestle. Like he told me, I'm not going to bring anything from there to you. I'm not going to bring anything from here to them. I just want to wrestle and I want to have fun. I'm like, okay, Joe, I trust you.
I mean, was it hard to trust, or did that trust come easy when
at first I was wary because I didn't want to be near them. I'll tell a story. I had to go back there one time.
Oh, really?
One time. I had to go back one time because I was helping Fat Asian with something, and he was like, just drop me off. Well, I sat in that driveway for like 5 minutes just looking at everybody. And everybody was there. They didn't know that I was there, but I saw them, and I got the worst feeling in my stomach. Like I just got stabbed. It's like a gut sense of I shouldn't be here. And I was white as a sheet just from the anger and everything, and like reliving it. And Asian gets back in the car and he's like, what happened to you? I'm like, can we just go, please? He's like, yeah. But with Joe, Joe is easy to trust because Joe's always on time. Joe always tells me that if something if something comes up and he can't be there, he will tell me. And will
So
keep me.
he's very professional about it.
Yeah, like he doesn't say anything about anything. He's just there, and we have a good time, and
So then what happened with Fat Asian? Because I know he did he didn't do much in UWA, but he ended up
he
leaving
he was
actually back.
going to. He was going to.
So then what ended up happening? Why did he go back to TBW?
Well, we would post about the schedules in the chat, and it just seemed like 9 times out of 10 he was never really there. And then it was we kept telling him, hey, like we want you to be the first Southern champion. We want you to have a big push. We wanted to give you that, but it was just always, yeah, I'll be there. But then like he just never was there. He cared more about TBW than he did us, which is sad.
Yeah.
And it hurt my friendship with him because like he was a good friend of mine, and then everything happened, and I can't really talk to him now. I really
Oh,
can't.
so you're not really friends with him no more?
I mean, I try to at least see what
Check
he's
up
up
on him
to.
once in a while.
Yeah, but I just yeah,
So
and that's taken a mental health because I've lost some like of my closest friends to this.
yeah, and it's
And
kind of sad, and it doesn't help that the people over at TBW are not the you know
they aren't the subtle type.
yeah, they're not really the goodwill people.
Oh no. And
Another wrestler that I remember who did both shows, controversial name, Little Mike.
yes, that's the one that hurt the most.
So he ended up quitting, I'm guessing, after he
Well,
injured you,
okay,
or
I'm not gonna say what happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but it was a thing of like regarding both sides and something happening, and it was him and Lewis that was involved in this, and it led to a lot of arguments, and they both left. And I want to clear up the record here, just saying this. This is something I want everyone to pay attention to. I don't blame Mike for what happened. I was angry at the time because everything had been taken away, but looking back on it, I don't think he was trying to harm me.
so you don't think he did it on purpose?
No, it was just a badly mistimed thing.
How did he react afterwards? Like after the match?
He felt horrible. He felt terrible. It's like,
Oh,
I'm
really?
so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do it. I'm like, it's okay. I don't blame you. I forgive you. We still talk from time to time. He's the one guy that I can still talk to sometimes.
You know,
And
I remember when the TBW situation happened or
Mhm.
whatever. Um, I kind of figured one day, honestly, he would end up in UWA. But what really like shocked me was he ended up going back to TBW,
Yeah.
which didn't make any sense because I remember after the situation happened, me and him were texting and like because he made it clear or whatever that he has a disability and he couldn't believe what they did or whatever. So and then he
Yeah.
ended up going back.
Okay. And that's kind of the sad thing is I kind of can see because they have a big fan base. Admittedly, half of that fan base was pretty much asked and begged and pleaded for. But it's a thing. I can understand that we aren't the popular show yet. Like we aren't
Yet.
there yet.
Keyword yet.
I can understand it. It
I mean, they
hurts me.
never treated Little Mike wrong. Let's be like booking wise. I don't know
Booking
how
wise,
they treat him off camera, but booking
that's a
wise, I mean, they
that's a
never
different.
treated him bad.
But it was he was he was one of my best friends. It was the thing of I cried like legitimate tears when everything happened because I lost like another fucking friend.
I feel that.
And it wasn't about the wrestling show. It was just about, you know, you forge these like relationships. Like I remember like when the Virginia boys came down, he was in the car to go greet him. And like that day of just, me, CJ, Buzzsaw, and Mike just in the car vibing. And that's gone.
Man, I feel that.
And like, it sucks because I really would have liked to see him stay. I would have liked to see him develop his character. I would have let him do both.
Which you let him have like an interesting take on his character because you had him as a heel.
He wanted to be a heel.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, but like I think I made it like
he's been
clear.
A career baby.
Yeah, he's been a face his whole career.
And like with that, he had a fun time with the character. He was able to flex his muscles as a heel, which he did a good job.
I mean, yeah, his heel character was interesting. I mean, definitely
he was himself.
Yeah.
And he was the perfect foil to a lot of our wrestlers. I'll be honest. One of my favorite periods was when it was him and Joe fighting for the belt. Because
honestly, if you dropped the title with him onto him, couldn't even complain.
That we were going in that direction. We were going to go. Okay. The current thing that we have now is very different from how we conceived it at the beginning. If you would have heard the beginning plans compared to right now, you've been like, well, what the fuck happened there?
I mean, fuck it. Since the beginning plans never happened, what were the beginning plans?
Well, the beginning plans.
Oh, actually, real quick, I know we're getting, for the viewers out there, I know we're like jumping like all over the place. We're not really going on a timeline, but fuck it.
The first champion, the world championship has gone through some shit. The first world champion
obviously was going to be me. Obviously, I mean, why wouldn't it be me?
Yeah.
Like honestly, I was down in Tennessee, but then you were like, "Nah, Anthony, I can't give you the title," so I just dipped and left back to Florida. But that's really what was going to happen. I think we can all agree on that, and it finally admitted to the world, right?
No, but okay, but like for real, the first world champion was going to be Fat Asian. We were going to give him the rub because we had felt that he was criminally underutilized in TBW, and like, let's give someone different a chance.
Which, how is he being used now? Like, do you know if he's being used any better?
I've not watched it.
Yeah,
I don't pay attention.
Yeah,
but then it shifted because like then he refused that, and then Mike was going to be the first champion as a bad guy, heel. Little Mike as the world champion. But then something happened in his life where he said no. So we had 5 choices, or like 4 or 5 choices are going to be Joe, CJ, Buzzsaw, or me. And I looked at myself like, I'm not being the first world champion. I'm not going to put up to the top.
That's one thing I regret. Like, if I can go back and change the thing about FBW, I would not have made myself the first ever FBW champion. But at the time, I was like 12. So, like, not being mature and like, smart. I said, fuck it. It's my company. I'm the first champ.
Well, like I was the last option. I was like, if no one else can do it, I'll do it. But then it was like Buzzsaw was like, I like to be in the mid card for now. And it was between Joe and CJ. Now, keep in mind, before Unleashed, we had never seen CJ wrestle with someone like in a real match. It was just training.
Honestly, to be honest, how I would have done it, and this is no jab to Joe Anderson, I would have given it to CJ at first, because
it's very close to happening.
Only because, in my opinion, I feel like it's the first champion, it's new company. Honestly, fuck it, give it to the homegrown talent, and
that's understandable.
And I can see why you may have given it to Joe Anderson if it was because he's has the experience, he's been on TBW, he's sort of a name, so it gives value to the title. But honestly,
my reasoning with Joe, okay, I had 2 reasons for Joe. One, I knew he could be consistent and be here every week, and he would give a good performance. And B, I knew that he knew what it was like he knew his position. And CJ had the same two things, but like he was going to be the first champion. But then what happened was he was like, I don't think I'm ready yet. Give it some time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then it was Joe. And it was a good moment for Joe. It was a good reign for Joe. 6 months of being the champion, had some banger matches. He put the title on the map.
I mean, for sure. But and now CJ is rocking out with the title.
And that's honestly, I think he does a good job. Storylines aside, I think he does a fantastic job.
I mean, it's nice that, a homegrown UWA talent has the title now. So we'll see where this goes. And now you have actually Max Chaos now in the company.
Which that was a really big thing. That was a big thing.
Yeah, he did not have a good fallout with TBW.
No, that was something that.
Yeah, I ended up reading about it on his Instagram. For any of you
Yeah,
fans want to see, I don't know if the post is still up, but
that's a different story. But it was just, hey, I'd like to wrestle again. I'm fucking bored. I'm like, okay, come on down. And we had it to where, he was my last match.
Oh, really? Who was your last match?
Yeah, I wrestled Chaos on his debut night, and I knew it was kind of my time, so I'm gonna fucking put you over.
Wait, so you had a match after the Little Mike thing?
Yeah, it kind of flew under the radar because of everything that was going on, but yeah.
Oh shit, I never knew that.
I was barely on my last legs.
Was it like a very short match, or was it a pretty decent?
It was about 10 or 12 minutes.
Interesting.
I was going to give him a good debut. I was going to do everything in my power to give him a good debut because I believe in it. And that's just, CJ and Chaos they're going to headline the next pay-per-view, which we've said was Adrenaline.
Yep.
So in the next coming weeks, you're going to probably see CJ versus Chaos and whatever match we decide for the world championship. And that's where we're at now. We're kind of at, yeah.
So real quick before we get on to some other future, UWA stuff. Let's talk about, something that was big in the news a little bit. And that obviously was something we can't avoid, and that is your retirement. So you end up getting hurt against Little Mike on a raft taping. So how was it retiring? So you didn't go to the doctors immediately. So how long after the injury did you go to the doctor?
It was the day after my 20th birthday. And that was about 2 weeks after what happened with Mike happened.
So what made you have to go to the doctor?
Just the pain in my body.
So
just the physical pain of my body, just barely being able to stand in the shower, not really being able to eat well, and lost 10 pounds in like a week.
So he injured you good, and we'll talk about the diagnosis or whatever.
And
but yeah, he
going
got
to the
you
doctor, good. It was a strong hit. It was a very strong hit.
And then he dropped on your head.
He did, which that neither thing was his fault. It was just a bad circumstance because I was winded from the first shot, and then I didn't tuck my head the right way.
2 for the price of 1.
Which, was not a good place to be in, but, there we go.
And so you end up going to the doctor, and what did the doctor say?
Well, there was an x-ray, and it was said that you have a deep contusion on your sternum, which is just a bruise, right? But there was something that my body wasn't telling them. My body was feeling horrible.
So you think there was something hidden that the doctors never found?
I think there's something that we haven't figured out yet.
How do you feel right now?
right now, I'm somewhat in pain. It's like there's like this like kind of like lingering feeling of pain in like my abdomen and like my back and
Do you
stuff.
plan on
But
going back to another doctor, or are you just gonna write it out, see what
I'm
happens?
I'm gonna see in the spring if I can get an an evaluation, just like it's like a checkup. But they were like, you probably should stop. You don't have to stop, but you probably should stop because you could cause further damage to your sternum and your breathing problems. And I decided to take the safe way, you know. Um, to be honest,
So you necessarily didn't have to retire, but it would
I
have
didn't
been
have
the
to, but like my
smart.
body was like, you know, I was not good and everything around me was, I had more things to do besides just wrestle. I was going to be the owner. I have a girlfriend that I want a future with. I'm trying to get into more ventures. And I'm like, I can't do that if I'm barely moving and almost
You
dead.
said I want kids and everything,
No.
at least 3 kids.
Oh, Lord. Um, but just the future was just on my mind. And I'm like, I can't do it if I'm dead. Because one more shot and it probably would have offed me.
I mean, that probably would have been better than having kids.
I plead the fifth.
He said I plead the fifth. Yo, dude, I got 2 little fucking hellions, bro.
But
But I'm still
I'll just
Anthony Aries. I'm grinding out here though.
just but the doctor, hell, I mean, in a few months, the doctor could tell me something that we couldn't like expect. And if that happens, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Don't know.
So you don't know if the doctor said, "Yo, you're good to wrestle." You don't know if you would come back.
If the doctor says I'm good to wrestle, then I have to have a long, heavy think about it
Why you
because
don't want to come back, or like
I would
you've
like to
already?
come back. Like I would like to come back. I would like to, if anything, just one more retirement match, like a proper send off match.
Because
That's all.
if I'm not mistaken, your dream's not really to be a wrestler. This is more just like a fun little hobby, correct?
I mean, if I'm in the wrestling business, I'm in the wrestling business. I wouldn't mind. Maybe not being a wrestler, maybe like a manager, like
Because I remember like in the past you said that you don't really are trying to go pro or want to.
well, no, it's my main passion is music. I love music.
So you want to be like an artist.
I love to be an artist, but if part of my life is I'm in the wrestling business, I would love to be in the wrestling business, just in some form, shape, or fashion.
So uh so was there any plans for you to win the world title?
There were.
And I don't know if we said this, but you were actually going to retire after winning the world
I
title.
was gonna retire after winning the world title because I felt like I was like it's like I was gonna do my best work with the heel run, like the heel Howell was going to lead to the world title run,
So you were going to be a heel champion,
a heel world champion,
and
and
then you were going to build up the ultimate baby face to retire you and take the title off you, correct? Pretty
yes,
much.
it was a thing of yeah, it was going to be, if I could describe the run, it was pretty much going to be like Two-Face from Batman.
Okay.
So, something creates him, he reigns supreme, and then someone gets him. That story, two sides in one body. And
You feel like that would have been your best work like ever?
yes, because I was I was ready. I was so ready, and we were going to begin it with the CJ stuff.
You know,
And
honestly, I feel like personally right now, I feel like I'm doing my best work as the Messiah of the
and
Yard
that's
character.
and,
I have some
and
more
that's good.
ideas for some like promos and stuff, and I don't know. I feel like I'm just doing the best work. I'm starting to look up more like biblical shit and like verses to like incorporate into promos.
That's a good way to get some heat.
Yeah, just be like, oh man, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing my best work. And like I got the look down. I wear my little spoiler little fucking McDonald's manager button up shirt. I just ripped off the McDonald's logo off of it because there was like a little McDonald's like logo on the sleeve. So I just cut that shit off. I wear it with the collar popped up, come out all cocky.
Which is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So when you announced that you were gonna do the retirement speech, how did you feel?
like shit.
So how have you been coping with the
It's been hard to cope because like there are some times where I'm just like, I wish I could have like at least had one more retirement match just to have like a proper send off.
and what would that retirement match be?
I would have wanted a Iron Man match with CJ.
Oh really?
I
How
would have
many
wanted
minutes?
30 or 15. I want to go the distance.
Nah,
I
fuck
want
that. Don't be a bitch. You're doing that 1 hour. Let's go. Come on.
just an Iron Man match
You
with
know,
CJ.
me and Chris Dynamite, we
Mm-hmm.
did a fuck, how long was it? A 45-minute Iron Man match
Mm-hmm.
at what was it? It was like Karma, right? Was it 45 minutes? I think it was. And it fucking sucked. It sucks. In the Florida Heat too, dude.
Oh Lord,
15 minutes in, I was like, I'm done. I can't go much longer.
that's just
They suck. Iron Man matches, they suck. I think I've done two in my entire career. I did a 30-minute with Eric Danger way back in 2015.
mm-hmm.
That one wasn't as brutal, but I ended up cutting my dick in that match. So that
no.
so it's so from 2012 all the way up into 2020, we wrestled on the ground, just like
Yeah.
Earth. Um, and he hit me with the assassination, which was just a double-handed, like the McFoley DDT, right? The double-handed,
Bang bang.
yeah, bang bang. And when he dropped me, I just landed on his stick, and it just so. I think he pinned me, and it was like a 1, 2, 3 thing, and immediately I got up, and we had like a tent with a curtain, so I immediately got up, and you can
Just
see this in like the YouTube like video. Um, I got up, I went behind, the curtain, and I checked my dick, and it was bleeding a little bit. I was like, fuck. And then all of a sudden I see the cameraman come popping in. So I'm like, fuck. So I get back into the arena or whatever, and I just finished the match. And that was like fuck, not even 15 minutes into the match. So like I still had
oh
like the
Lord.
whole ass match to go, bro.
Yeah, you
It
had
sucked.
like
Yeah. I had
you
like
had like
another like 20 minutes to go.
yeah, you had 20 minutes.
Yeah, so it was not fun. It was not fun. But I ended up winning. So
Yeah.
that just proves I'm like super John Cena over here. But yeah, so retirement. So like have you had the itch to come back?
The only thing I've wanted to do is just have the retirement match.
So that's the only thing that's killing you right now.
Yeah, because I never got my proper in-ring send-off. I had a decent match with Max Chaos, but I would have loved to give the match that I always wanted to give.
I mean, and that's why you hear the saying, always wrestle your match. Like
Exactly.
it's the last, because you never know.
Exactly.
So I mean you had a retirement speech or whatever, which was the first one you mentioned. So
Yeah.
so why is that? Why was I the first one? I mean, obviously you gotta save the
I was going to
finish.
mention everybody. I was just going to be like, hey, people who were helping UWA and helping all of us, and I was just thanking people for helping me through the hard times.
I'm surprised you mentioned me. And not only that,
What-
you mentioned me first out of everybody. You mentioned me
Out of
first.
everybody, yeah. Well, because I knew that you. Well, because like you were the first one that I really talked to about like outside the group of forming UWA and like coming back to the ring. So I'm like, I better just be poetic about it and mention
Yeah,
someone.
I don't remember how we met. Not gonna lie, I don't know if I hit you up or you hit. No,
I,
I'm pretty sure
I
I
think
hit you
I
up.
hit you up. I was like, hey, I didn't because like I was still doing the thing of like teasing like the account of hey, who is this person?
I think I may have commented on one of your posts, and then you or me hit each other up
And
because
then
there
I
was some
told you who I was. I was Howell from TBW. You're like, oh my god.
man.
But I really I tried to keep it a secret, and then when March came and like I revealed myself, I remember people texting me just like, it was you the whole time, you fucker.
And I'm just there like, yeah, I know what's going on. I know everything.
I was playing them like a damn fiddle because I think that they thought it was somebody different.
See, I'm a very trustable guy. Like I never told anybody anything. I never acted, but
Mhm.
which I mean, it's fun when people legitimately don't know and you can build something.
And and I did. It took like probably took four three like 3 or 4 months, but I built it and people fell into it. And when UWA was announced, everybody was like, okay, this is interesting. And I remember that day vividly, June 22nd. Is it the 20th or the 22nd of June when we launched it? And I remember just sitting because, okay, I'll be honest. It's me and CJ together. We were staying up late, like staying over, like staying over together, getting everything ready. And just the shots of the ring and everything. And then the UWA logo pops up on the screen for the first time. And immediately people were talking about it. And we just sat there like, okay, we got him. We got him. And yeah, it was the announcement.
So do
Nerve-wracking.
people from TBW still try to harass you nowadays?
There was okay, no, but there was one instance that happened a few weeks ago that I look at as a learning experience personally.
Oh, really?
I won't name names, but one of them called me and pretty much just told me to move on and downplayed all the trauma, downplayed everything, and pretty much just scolded me like a little toddler,
I
like
think I know who you're talking about.
in like 5 voice messages. And I simply replied with, I stand by what I say. I'm not going to take back what I say. I don't give a damn what you think about me. I stand by the fact that I don't like these people or what they do. They nearly fucked up my life, and you can't change that. So deal with it. And they had always dealt with me. I was always kind. I was always considerate. I never raised my voice, and I did there. And it was then after that it was well, okay, have a good year. And that was something that I don't like. Sometimes, okay, I will fucking reveal this. Is that they have tried to reach out to CJ so many different times.
Oh, oh
Oh
shit.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You see. And
So they're
CJ
trying
hates.
to
Yeah.
steal.
They were like they won't leave him alone. And he doesn't want to go. He's getting tired of it. And I just find it funny. Like, we don't need them months later. We need that guy.
So
It's
they're
just,
trying to steal your thunder and try to rip everybody from your company.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, because they can't stomach the fact that I'm fucking succeeding. They can't stand that that someone actually broke away from them and did something of value for once.
And that goes back to what I said. Like, when you were there, I feel like they knew you were going to be something special, so they purposely try to keep you on the low, so you didn't outshine them.
I was openly critical too. That's why they didn't like me.
Yeah, because you didn't follow what they wanted.
Well, no, because because I'm gonna use code names here, right? Nature Boy would write the damn script for the show, and he'd hand it to me and be like, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" And I'd just be like, "Well, first of all, these two are in a feud, but now they're tagging with each other for no reason."
So they were just booking nonsense, and you called them out for it.
And I was like, "Listen, I know this is just what we are, but you could at least put some thought into it. And why are you in the main event? You aren't even the world champion."
Well, let's be honest.
Why is the world champion in a tag team match?
Gage Flair is just a fat Ric Flair wannabe dumbass. So
a novel of words could be said, but I'm going to keep the pen to myself.
He said, "I'll just let you do all the shit talking. I don't give a fuck."
No.
TBW guys, try to DM me. Come on, try to shit talk me.
I've said my piece, and Lord knows if I do, it's going to be like, like all that shit again. But I never went along with what they said. Like I would do what they told me to do on the show because I had respect for Josh, or at least had respect for Josh. But
you still cool with Josh?
No, not after everything that they've done to him. No.
Oh,
that is not the man that I knew growing up. That is not the humble person that I knew. That's a different fucking person.
And yeah, it's so fucked up how they stole his company from him. Let's be honest, because Josh is the founder, but they ended up stealing it from him.
The owner, he's the founder. It's his property, but it's always, this quote always rings true in my head. I'm like, Josh, why don't you just do this to him? And I'm like, I'm the owner. What the fuck can I do about it?
Exactly. You're the owner. What can you do about it? Everything.
What? You kick him out. But like, okay, it's two people in particular. I'm not going to say who they are, but they have ruined the damn thing.
I think everybody knows who damns. Well, we mentioned it on the last
long time ago, but it's just when you run it into the ground so much, you can't dig yourself back up. That's the issue. I'm not saying anything about the product. I'm saying it in terms of the respect. I'm saying it in terms of the safety and the well-being and the mental health and the physical health of the people involved.
I mean, let's just be honest.
Gage
Flair, he shouldn't be booking or running a company.
I don't want to. Okay. I literally told Josh, like, if you're not careful, he might just do something. Just because I was just concerned. I was like, Josh, do you see what he's writing? Do you see what he's doing?
Ric Flair wannabe. God damn.
Okay, side note. Ric Flair's not even the real Nature Boy. That's fucking Buddy Rogers. But anyway.
I mean, after that.
Hell, even Buddy Rogers on the Nature Boy. It's fucking Gorgeous George. But
well, let's be honest. There's been like fucking 40 fucking Nature Boys in wrestling.
There's been 7,000.
Yeah.
But
shit, okay, I think I'm one of them.
But the point is they don't like to see me succeed. They don't. But I'm not going to stop.
I mean, I'm not. You tried your best to, shine in TBW. So what was your last match in TBW?
It was against Fat Asian at the season finale.
That's what I was thinking. And you lost that match, right?
I think I won that match, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What was your favorite TBW match?
Oh, that's a fucking tricky one. Well,
the only match I really remember you having, to be honest, was
Fat Asian.
No, it was the match you had with a Titan.
The Falls Count Anywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good one.
Did
That
you?
was a fun match.
I think you lost that one too.
I did,
Yeah. What the fuck, man?
which they give me shit about because they're like, "Why didn't you win?" I'm like, "You, you know."
Hey, so you're gonna lose this match. Proceed to
Okay, well,
lose match. Why the
like
fuck did you lose that match?
I don't know. Like, I eventually worked it down to can I, hey, can I like pass out? You know, and not tap because I was like, I just arrived here. People like what
Bro,
I'm doing.
he's the best. Yeah,
I
you
don't.
get it because he screams that stupid saying in his entrance.
I don't know.
I'm the
I don't know.
best.
I know that he legitimately kicked me in the fucking nose during that match. Like donkey kicked me. That knocked me out like little fucking loopy for a second.
You said, "All right, it's on, motherfucker."
No, I was just trying to get through it. And Jesus, just they don't want to see me succeed. They can keep trying their best, do what they want to do, but it's not going to work.
So, what was your favorite match? I mean, I know there's not a lot to choose from, but what was your favorite UWA match?
It's probably a 3-way tie. The Underground Rules match with Mayhem, the match I had with Logan Price, and then the match I had with CJ.
So,
Those have
you actually have a really good friendship with Logan Price. So, how did you guys meet, and how did you guys grow such a strong relationship?
There was a drama in TBW where they were trying to screw SVBW over, and there was a big controversy with things that were being said, and it was just a hurt time. But then when UWA was being formed, I'm like, "Hey guys, can I talk to you guys?" And they're like, "Sure, whatever." You know, I'm like, "Listen, things happen, and I'm sorry for what happened. It was terrible what fucking happened. They made fun of you all because you guys cut promos on them. I want to give you guys the chance. I want you to go out there in front of the camera and prove those fuckers wrong."
Wait,
And they did.
so TBW was shitting on SVBW?
This is what happened. And to this day, I feel guilty about it, but they're always like, "No, it's okay." They pretty much forced me to make a video poking fun at all of them with things that they wanted to say. And I felt guilty about it. So I'm like, I'm gonna make this right. And I did, and now they're my best friends. I love them. They're the kind of
You
people
made
that
a video making fun of them. How could you, man?
I know, and I felt bad about it. That was like one of the worst things I ever did.
I mean, at least you made amends with them, though.
I was a shithole back then. I was an asshole, but I did my best to make amends, and we're the best of friends now.
I mean, yeah, he's your commissioner.
I talk to Logan every day. I talk to Mercer every day. I talk to ET when he's available, and they're bros. They're fun to hang out with. If only there would have been a camera on during that whole time, because we were just fucking pounding around like a bunch of bros. They're the greatest. And I recently made amends with somebody that I wanted to make amends with because it's just the situation was so bad. Jared Black, who left because of something. We've smoothened things out, and I'm so glad. It was a misunderstanding, and he's a great guy, you know. He's a good guy. So we're kind of all back together in a way, of course, minus the guys who were doing the shit. Yeah,
Sure.
just it's the family.
So before we wrap things up, I don't know how long we've been doing this damn call, but
I've been having a good time.
so before we wrap things up or whatever, anything you want to talk about or get off your chest?
I mean, there's just something I want to say. It's not just for me, but for the entire UWA roster, like the ones who support us, the ones who believe in us from day one, the ones that give us their time when we upload. We love those people. We love our followers. We love them because without them, we're nothing. We're just a bunch of people in a ring. With them, we become CJ, we become Buzzsaw Billy, we become Joe Anderson, we become Jake Howell. We we become the characters because we play it for them. And the ones that say TBW 2.0 and the ones that try to harass us and the ones that try to tear us down and take our roster and make things harder, we do it for them too. It's just a fuck you. We're not going to go down without a fight. If UWA like ended tomorrow because of that shit, I wouldn't have any regrets because we did something that no one else could do. We made an alternative. We went out there, we did something different as a family, and we did something different. And it wouldn't have been possible without, like with help from you guys at the Backyard Wrestling Nexus and, people from all over, because right now we're more in tune with like relationships than we ever have been before. We're trying to bring people in for a certain event that we have going on sometime soon, which I can't talk about yet, but it's set to be the biggest event so far.
Right
and
on.
We have our Southern title, which we've been trying to crown for so fucking long. We're gonna get some crown.
Yeah,
But
fuck it, I'll just take it.
I don't know you. I don't know. It's a bit cursed. But
Shit, who do I gotta beat? It doesn't matter who I'm gonna beat because I'll beat him anyway.
Anyway, the thing is, very simple. Just to those who support us, we love you. To those who don't support us, we love you too because you give us fuel.
Right on. So, but before we end, what's the future goal for UWA? How long do you see yourself doing UWA, and or is there a goal that you want to reach before UWA closes its doors?
The one thing I want to reach is probably a proper event and like outside like relationships with other federations to bring at like to bring them all together for one big event and have
So you want to do like a full on like in-person collab show?
There's something I dreamed of, and I'd like just to kind of say it. There used to be this thing in Japan in the 90s. It was called the World Wrestling Peace Festival.
Okay.
And it was with New Japan and All Japan and WCW and WWF, where everybody came together and wanted to do business and were nice to each other. I want an event, like whether it is filmed on one day or 2 days, 2 weeks, whatever, we get it all together in the UWA ring and we present it either as, okay, this will be the name for our WrestleMania show regardless, but Final Destination for all the top feuds, and we present it. That's the goal, is to have a varied show, people we can bring in from time to time. It might become, UWA might become, we run less shows, but we have some good names and we have good shows. It could blossom into many different things, but the most thing we just want to do is have a good time. We love wrestling.
So how long do you see yourself doing UWA?
As long as possible.
So you're going to ride it on till everybody either moves on or,
if something happened and all that would go on, I would try to turn UWA in like a PWG type show where like we run less shows. Yes, I can bring in people from outside of Tennessee and beyond for like one event on one day. We film it and then we go.
So you want to try to make like it still be backyard wrestling, or you want to try to do like a pro thing?
I don't know. If it goes in the indie route, and in the pro route, it goes in that direction. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. I just want to see to it that my brand has the right representation. That's all I want to do is just make it.
Well, it's been an absolute honor and a fun time talking to you again. I know it's been a very long time since you and me did a little sit down interview talk or whatever. Can't remember the last time we did the Cursive Fairies live on Instagram, but
it had to be April.
I think it was like about May-ish. I think
it probably was May, wasn't it?
I think it was somewhere around there. It was like the spring of 2021. So it's been almost a year. You were actually on the last episode of the podcast. We did a 3-way. That sounded really gay. With Gunshot. Or should I say Cum Shot? We did a 3-way with Cum Shot. But yeah, no, it definitely was nice to sit down and have another one-on-one talk. Hopefully you fans out there, learned something new or something interesting, or just had a good time listening to us talk about UWA, a little bit of TBW, and just backyard wrestling.
Okay, I want to throw this out there because I think it's a show that people might want to listen to, and I'm not trying to use anybody's name as anything, but I've been dying to tell, have a podcast just full of the funny TBW stories, of the stories that are just ridiculous.
So wait, don't you have a podcast?
I do.
And you haven't had me on it.
That could be the time to do it. It's just it's a time to tell the stories that aren't really bad. They're just kind of ridiculous and stupid.
All these 2 times that I've had you and interviewed you, you couldn't have had me on your podcast.
Busy. Things have been going on.
Oh yeah, but you got time to do my podcast. You using me for my views or something? Or are you too good for me or something?
I'm tired.
He said, I'm tired. This man texted me before. He's like, sorry if I sound tired.
Yeah, no, because literally the last week we were trying to pull together a show and then the damn snow came.
Man, you know what I was doing before this podcast?
Was that?
Being mentally and physically harassed by my kids. I've been up since 3:00 in the morning, bro. Yeah, what do you guys say now? What do you guys say now?
Hallelujah, polycretion. That's a really bad thing to hear. I'm sorry about that.
No, I'm vibing. I mean, I'm tired, but I had some good ass dinner, yo. I had this garlic parmesan, chicken and pasta. I seen the trend on Facebook.
You making me hungry,
bro. It was good as fuck. I mean, it was a little spicy because that Buffalo Wild Wing that wing sauce. Yeah, you use the garlic parmesan one. You put that shit in with some chicken in a crock pot. Ooh, cook that up for 2-3 hours. Then you cook some noodles, stir that shit all together. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I didn't make a damn cooking show. I mean, I didn't cook that. I mean, my cooking skills are not that good, but I can cook some good mac and cheese. I should make a cooking show, cooking with Aries. Yeah,
that'd be funny as shit.
I mean, I'm launching a YouTube channel starting about next month or so. You got any big plans going into this year?
Well,
I'm just trying to build my Anthony Aries brand. That's what I'm trying to do.
My goal at show wise, as now I guess the producer and the owner, is to make UWA bigger and stronger. Personal goal is to be a better person than I was.
One thing is you won't be alone on the retired list, because I'm actually retiring this year in 2022. So we'll chill and be retired together.
Just tell stupid fucking stories.
So wait, what's your podcast name?
Unfiltered. Unfiltered with Jake Kemp. It's on. Okay, this channel that it's on. Quickly, if you look it up, you will see what I've been up to when I'm not doing UWA. It's pretty.
Isn't it like Sweet Tasty Balls or some shit like that?
Tasty balls, and it's pretty much just.
I think I'm already subscribed. Not gonna even cap.
It's whatever I want to do. You will see UWA guys make cameos in there. You will see them, and you might hear them on live.
Oh, you were streaming some 2K.
I did stream some 2K. Jared was there.
2K19 or 2K20?
19. I ain't gonna mess with 20.
20 is not that even bad. Not gonna even cap.
Anthony.
Honestly, like I haven't experienced many glitches that everybody says there are. The game is boring. Don't get me wrong. It's boring. Like I'll hop on it once in a while to play some exhibition matches and honestly have a good time for like an hour or two. But that's because I keep an open mind when I play wrestling or watch wrestling. Hell, I'm like probably like one of the only fucking dudes who actually watched 205 live and actually enjoyed it.
It was an underrated show. Had some good moments. It just fell under the radar, just unfortunately.
We got streams in 2K together. That's our next thing. Besides having me on your podcast, Unfiltered with Anthony Harris. Think about that, yeah.
Like unfiltered does mean we just drop everything. And it's like, look, I do know this because the day will come when Unfiltered and a certain masked man way down the line, will probably be on it. And it'll be a lot of people's first introduction to who he is as a person.
Oh shit.
And listen, okay, seriously, I'm gonna say this one last thing is if there's anybody that you want to get to know, like when he eventually decides to maybe share his story when he wants to, that's CJ. Because that man,
that would be dope.
Like he's not only a good guy, and he's not only like a good person, like he's been through stuff, he survived. Close confidant. He's somebody that I think that, interesting story, great guy to work with, but in storyline, I fucking hate him.
Oh shit.
But that's it really. It's just we just spilled tea.